Hello students, today we are going to see the Economics for Engineer course. We will begin with first semester which is designed for second semester, and we will be beginning with the first unit which comprises of certain concepts in economics, and today we are going to see the nature and we are going to begin this lecture with nature and scope of economics. What do you think, economics is an art or is it a science? Right? What is your opinion? It is an art or it is a science? So technically, if you think rationally, it is both. Economics is both arts and science. Essentially, it is a social science. It is defined as a social science. It deals with the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. Why it is called as science? Because it involves systematic collection of facts and figures. The same way we advance the science, or the same research methodology we employ for scientific research, same research methodology it is employed in economics for systematic collection of facts and figures. Based on that, several economic theories and principles are established. Like in science, it is based on the formulation of theories and laws, and how those theories and laws are formalized using facts and figures collected by a scientific method. So, in this sense, in essence, economics is a science. It deals with the cause and effect relationship. What happens if the demand increases? What happens on the market if the supply is decreased? What happens if there is some certain calamity? What is the impact of certain management decision on the company and its revenue? All these examples are examples of cause and effects relationships in economics. Like the way in science we deal what happens if there is a gravity on one subject or one object, how the object moves in under the influence of electricity, electrical field, magnetic field, or gravitational force. Similarly, here market analysis and management, business management is studied with the cause and effect relationship. So, with respect to these 3 4 points, it is an science. Similar to science, various economics theories are also based on logical reasoning. There is a logical reasoning involved. And the same way, why economics we are calling it as an art? Because economic theories are used to solve various economic problems in society. It is a human, there is a human touch to this particular subject, which is not so much in science. It deals with solving economical problems by studying the economics. Thus, it can be inferred that besides science, it can be also an art. What is the scope of economics? There are 2, 3 subtopics falling under economics. First is the microeconomics, which examines individual economic activities. Microeconomics, industries and their interaction with individual, not related to society. It studies topics like elasticity, production theory, market structures like monopoly or oligopoly, which hamper you on an individual day-to-day basis. In that particular branch of economics is called as microeconomics, while another branch, which is called as macroeconomics, deals with the large scale, studies economics as a whole. As a whole, it explains broader relationships and interactions top down. So it studies the parameters like growth, employment, inflation, deflation, GDP of a country or a nation or a globe. So basically, macroeconomics deals with these concepts studied at all those concepts which are studied at larger levels, larger populations. To begin with, we will study first what is demand and what is supply. A price of a commodity is decided by two factors: its demand in market and how the scale of supply of that particular commodity in the market. The amount of commodity people buy depends on its price. If a price is cheaper, there will be easy for a lot of people to buy that commodity, hence its price will be less. If the commodity uh, is readily available, its price will be cheaper. If the commodity, to manufacture that commodity, there is less cost is involved, automatically the price of that commodity will be cheaper and many people will be willing to buy a less priced item, so the demand will be high and supply will be also high. Meaning of other things held constant, that means we are varying the price without changing any quality, and there is definite relationship between the market price of good and quantity demanded, other things being constant. So this relation between the price and quantity is called as demand curve or demand schedule. So as the price increases, there will be a increase in the demand but decrease in the supply. So it creates that this particular demand creates a downward sloping demand curve, which is shown by this diagram. So this curve has 4 points A, B, C, D, which are interlining with quantity of one particular item. Here it is, the example is taken as cornflakes from millions of boxes per year, 5, 10, 15, 20, and on y-axis there is a price axis where is price of cornflakes is there, $1, $2, $3, $4, $5. So if there is quantity of cornflakes available increases, the price decreases. So more and more and more and more you are producing cornflakes, there is abundant supply of one particular commodity in the market, so its price drops. So the price goes low and low and low and low. So for largest quantity available in the market, you will have lowest price for the cornflakes. Negative slope of demand curve. So you will see this demand curve is of having negative slope. It decreases as the quantity price decreases as the quantity increases. Hence, this particular demand curve is said to be having a negative slope. It illustrates a law of downwards sloping demand. It states when the price is raised, then demand is less because buyers less tend to buy that commodity less due to high price. Then they will go for what then the buyer will do? Buyer will go for another similar cheaper alternatives of the same product. Hence the demand will be pulled from that thing and demand will be increased for the other alternative which is more cheap. The quantity demanded tends to fall as the price rises for two reasons. First is the substitution effect, which we discussed right now, which occurs because a good becomes relatively more expensive when the price rises. Price rises, good becomes more expensive, and when the price of good rises, it will generally substitute the other goods for it. For example, if the price of meat increases, I can substitute it with eating more chicken. Because meat is costlier for me, chicken is not costly for me, so I will opt for chicken to get the same benefit which are obtained by eating meat. So this is called as substitution. I will substitute my commodity with a similar commodity or a commodity giving a similar effect which is having a less price. Okay. In that way, quantity demanded will fall. Another, high price also reduces quantity demanded through the income effect. What does it mean? This effect will come into play when a price goes up. I find myself somewhat poorer than before. So like when the petrol price has gone up, I have in effect less income. Due to less income, I don't have money to buy petrol, and naturally I will look at how to reduce my consumption, how to reduce usage of petrol in my daily life. So to overcome this high cost of petrol, what I will do? I will decrease my demand by decrease its use. For shorter distances, I will not use any petrol driven bike. I will go by walk and do my work. I will save on petrol, hence I will demand less quantity of petrol from the market. Due to its high cost, automatically demand will go down. We have been talking so far about the individual demand. The fundamental building block of demand is individual preferences. What are my preferences as an individual or a commodity? When we talk about the market demand, market demand is nothing but sum of all individual demands. My demand is different than that student's demand. which is different by that girl student's demand. So that when I sum up all of your demands, then we can say something about we have a market demand for this classroom. The market demand curve is formed by adding together the quantities demanded by individuals at each price. So meat is costlier for me. I am eating chicken. So due to substitution effect, my demand for meat has been decreased. But that is only true for my case. For another case, for another person, he may substitute egg for meat. So for his perspective, demand for egg will increase, demand for meat will increase. For my perspective, again, demand of chicken will be increasing, demand of meat will be increasing. So when you sum up all your individual demands and draw a demand curve, that will be market demand. What are forces behind the demand curve? First is the average level of income of consumers. If overall all consumers are poor, then they will have less demand. If their income is good, they have purchasing power, or they have the power to purchase many things in many number of times. So the purchasing power of the consumer will be more if their income will be more, and if that case is there, then demand will be there. For example, cars or scooter or two-wheeler or four-wheeler purchases tend to increase with a higher level of income. If my salary or my income from my business is going up, then my purchasing power is more. Then to overcome the struggles in my daily life, I will easily buy car or scooter. Second, the size of market. The size of market right now, as an example, we considered individual demands of each classroom, each individual in this classroom, and that is the pool of consumers we are considering. If we increase the size, total population affects the market demand curve. It may be like that. If a total population has a demand, then meat will not be so much pricier item for them. Maybe they will not opt for chicken and egg because for them meat is not a pricier item, and for them, due to their demand, there is still demand for that particular item, that is meat, in the market. Prices and availability of related goods also influence. Suppose there is a curfew outside and you want a milk is not readily available. What we have seen in our daily life, whenever there is non-availability of item, there is more demand than short supply, price will go up. There are subjective factors like taste and preferences of consumers. So when you consider all individuals in sum, each and everyone will have different taste. So I have substituted meat by chicken. That is my personal choice and my personal taste. He replaced meat by egg to get the same effect of protein demand by its body. But although the effect is same, he likes more egg. He doesn't like chicken, but I like chicken, I don't like eggs. That's how the variations in substitutions happen at a larger level. Some spatial influences affect the demand for certain goods. Demand for umbrellas will be only during the rainy season. Demand for air conditioners will be only during the summer season. Demand for gold will be during the festive seasons where people tend to buy gold. So there are certain items which are cyclic in nature. What do you mean by cyclic? There will be some phase in 1 year or a period of 10 years or a period of 2 years or a period of 5 years. Within that span, short span, among the entire year, demand will be very high, then the demand will be very low. So when the demand is high, and if due to high demand, despite of having high demand, there is short supply by the manufacturers, then the price will be increased. Similarly, in case of certain agricultural products, have such influence in the market. For example, take mango. Mango is available only in summer season. So, if the supply is good, to quench the demand of market, mangoes are supplied correctly, then the prices will be under check. If the demand is more and supply is less due to natural calamities, prices of mangoes will go up due to availability. When the prices will go up due to income restricted at some particular individual, at some particular level, for certain individuals, mangoes will be too expensive to quench their demand. So they will seek for another alternatives or they will limit their consumption. Shifts in demand. We have discussed some points in shifts in demand. Demand changes in insensibly. What does a demand curve shift? Other than price, demand can change due to income effect. If the income is increased, then the demand will be increased. If the income is decreased, demand will be decreased. When there are changes in factors other than its own crude price, or after the quantity purchase, we call changes are shifting. Environmental changes, demand increases, price increases, decreases like this. So this is an example of shift in demand. So demand is increased from this D to D. It has increased from D bar to D bar. So there are two curves denoting the shift in demand. Similar to demand, there is also a supply schedule. The supply side of market involves the terms on which businesses produce and sell their product. Supply schedule relates the quantity supplied to goods to the market price. How much supply of that particular good is happening in the market from the manufacturer side or from producer's side. Supply schedule or the supply curve for commodity shows the relationship between the market price and supply. Amount of supply. So supply schedule in contrast to your demand schedule it has a positive slope. Quantity of cornflakes produced are more goes on increase and increase and increase where when the price per unit of cornflakes box increases. Naturally, if I found that the cornflakes box which I am producing is going, there is demand still for a high price, what I will do? I will produce more and more cornflakes to get more and more profit by selling my cornflakes at higher price. So as the price increases, quantity of cornflakes supplied to the market to be sold to the consumer also increases. So that particular industry will get benefited through profit. What are the factors determining the supply curve? Production cost. To produce cornflakes, I will require raw materials. What is the raw material cost? I will require machinery. What is the cost of machinery? And manpower. What is the cost of manpower? Another important factor is technological advances. If I am using older machinery which consumes lot of inputs such as electricity, maintenance, shutdown due to repair and maintenance, I will have more and more money wasted on it to produce one box of cornflakes, right? In that case, I will set price of one production cost of that one box of cornflakes will be much higher. But imagine now I have installed a new machine consisting of technological advantages which takes care of which is maintenance free. I hardly require any maintenance on that machine, which produces more and more cornflakes at increased rate per minute or per hour, so that I can have larger number of cornflakes boxes available per unit time in very less cost. Then I will reduce the cost of cornflakes box per cornflakes box. Hence, what I am able to achieve? I am able to achieve low production cost and low price. And if there is low price, then many people will buy my cornflakes if it is kept at low price and the demand will be higher. So in this way, your supply curves and demand curves are also interlinked. If the price of one production substitute rises, supply of another substitute will increase. Government policies shift in supply when there changes in factors other than its own goods price affect the quantity supplied. We call that shift in supply. So technically, when there is shift in supply, not due to technological advancement not due to prices of corn, prices of raw material, prices of machinery, prices of inputs. Rather, shift in supply occurs when there is shift in prices not related to goods own price. So anything related to hike in price not due to price increasing or decreasing in producing the cornflakes is there. For example, if there is some new government scheme which subsidizes the cornflakes, then my price will drop because I am getting subsidy from the government. On the other quantity, if there is some climatic change due to which cornflakes are getting damaged after production, then there is a shift and supply. Because damaged goods will nobody will take, my production will go waste, I will suffer losses. Next batch of cornflakes will be of higher price, which few people will buy. So this is a shifting supply curve. SS is the normal supply curve. Due to effects which are not related to cornflakes own price, you have to increase or decrease in supply. In this case, the government has given me some benefits, subsidy, or the electricity or price has gone down, or there is some market value, or there is some updation in the tax regime, so that I am getting benefit from that. So despite having the same prices of raw materials, electricity, etc., due to market situation, supply curve has been shifted to right. So I can supply the more quantities of goods, for this example cornflakes, in less number of prices. So there will be a shift in supply curve. So what we saw in today's lecture, we have seen demand curve and supply curve. As the production cost falls, supply of automobile increases. So, for example, supply of automobiles would increase if introduction of cost-saving computer CAD CAM machines are there. So, in this way, technological advances become help in producing your material in less and less price. So, this is what is an equilibrium price. Equilibrium between demand and supply has to be established, and this interact to produce the equilibrium price or quantities, which is called as a market equilibrium. So this is the price per box, quantity demanded, quantity supplied. So this is the equilibrium price, or this is called as equilibrium curve. This is the quantity S. In this, below this denotes the shortage, above this denotes the surplus. As we saw previously, DD is the demand curve, which is a downward sloping, negatively sloping curve. DD curve goes like this. Your supply curve is a positive curve. It goes like this compared to price. Where they will meet, it is called as an equilibrium point, in which there is no profit, no loss, no supply, no surplus supply, no shortage of supply. There is exactly equal demand and there is exactly equal supply of the commodity at this point, which is called as equilibrium point. Elasticity of demand is nothing but certain forces increase or decrease the demand. Hence, the demand is called as elastic. Depending on those factors, demand will move, increase or decrease, and accordingly, prices of the commodity will be changed. So there are two types. You can have perfectly elastic demand and perfectly inelastic demand, in which changes in quantity doesn't change its price, then it is called as perfectly inelastic demand. So 200 quantities are produced in this particular price. It is a price can be varied, but the quantity remains the same. Here, price is remaining same. Whatever quantity of the demanded product is produced, so it is called as price perfectly elastic demand, or it is an elasticity of straight line. So you can have for a curve demand, you can calculate the price elasticity by having a tangent over that curve, calculate where it incorporates, where it touches the x and y axis. You take the ratio, then you will get the elastic nature of the demand. Businesses will want to know whether the raising price will raise our revenues or product or revenues. That's what the elasticity is. Total revenue is equal to price times quantity, and accordingly, when the demand is price inelastic, perfect price decrease reduces total revenue. When the demand is price elastic, price decrease increases total revenue. So we will stop here. Next lecture we will see the remaining part. Goodbye.